Welcome to this month's Member Spotlight. Anna Wolfman, she's the founder of Femunify.
I just felt like this inner calling, this inner desire to do something more.
How did you, first of all, use Zoom for your business?
Zoom was the primary way to connect with people.
It is the key to getting you out there.
Our confidence in ourselves, our belief that we will figure things out.
How to make it happen.
Create win-win value exchanges is what it's all about.
We just knew that our skills were easily exchangeable.
That is brilliant. Brilliant, right?
It easily grows in an organic way.
This is your place to shine and talk about all your gifts.
I know, we're exchanging skills today, Anna. All righty. Well, hi there, everyone, and welcome to this month's Member Spotlight here inside the Tech Playground. I am so excited to have this month's guest with us, Anna Wolfman. She's the founder of Femunify. Say hi, everybody. Welcome, Anna.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad everybody's here. We will just, as everybody just gets settled in, I am live, and we welcome those who gave us their confirmation that they'd be coming through the event. I love that. I can't wait to talk to you, Anna, about being a female business owner, an entrepreneur as well. So I have been talking to you now for the past couple months since we met up about collaborating and how that really helps us. And I know I want to just share this story with everybody too, how, see, this morning, I'm here in Arizona, by the way, and it is 9:00 a.m. here on the West Coast. And Anna, you are?
In Toronto on the East Coast, Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, great. So we're 3 hours apart, and Zoom brings us together in here. So we're in the Zoom meeting, and we're coming to you live streaming to the Facebook group. So when Anna joined this morning, she saw my waiting room. So my waiting room video, which you can just use video in your waiting room. So she came in and she was like, I really liked that video that you had there in the waiting room. I was like, I love using video in my Zoom waiting room because look, today it's just one person waiting, but if you've got a group of people waiting for you, or if you're going to do a collaboration event of some kind where you're collaborating or you're doing a combined summit or bringing together multiple entrepreneurs. I'm sure, Anna, you're going to talk to us about things like that we can get ourselves organized with. Everybody's sitting there waiting for you to start. And it's just like if you came to their physical waiting room in their physical building and you have some sort of, you can have a promo video, you can have an introduction video, you can have a, hey, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Make sure you have these materials ready when we get started. And it could be any kind like that. So what we were discussing, here's the story, is that I didn't make that video. I have my dear video editor, Kyle, and I know he's watching. I'll actually tag him on this. He created that fantastic promo. And I was saying to Anna, I'm like, you know what? I could make that. I can look around and say, well, I know how to do that. I know how to make a video. Many of you, maybe tech's not your genius or your gift. Maybe I deal with a lot of instructors and educators, and teaching is your gift and whatever content you teach. And we all know that, we could work on it, but we can't do it all, is what we were talking about. And I learned that lesson, and I let go about 5 months ago of that concept of trying to do it all. And Anna, what did you say to me when I said that to you? I'm like, I learned that I just can't do it all.
I said that's exactly what I preach, because that is just what I have come to see as well in the online entrepreneurship community, and especially with women, that we we sometimes have this expectation of ourselves that we should be doing it all, we should be figuring it all on our own. And we also have this fear of letting go, of relinquishing control, of seeking help, partially because of these limiting beliefs, and partially because we almost like don't even know where to start, right? Because our business is like our baby, and it's hard sometimes to figure out how to delegate, how to get help, what you even need help with. And so that was actually like one of the first things I saw online before I came up with my community concept of skill exchanges. So it was just such an interesting story to hear from you, because I think I can so relate, and so many of us can relate to sort of being in the spot of like, I could do everything, but I know it's probably not, it doesn't serve me well to figure everything out on my own. And it would serve me better to get help from other people.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about how you got started, and take us back there when you started your company, and how it all came to be.
Yeah, so just to give you like a little bit more context, I spent about 13 years in the corporate world. And I did a few different kind of like gigs and jobs, and I actually started my career as a CPA in accounting, and then moved on to strategy and internal management consulting and operations and product management, and just kind of touched a little bit of everything, but eventually got to a point where I just felt like this inner calling, this inner desire to do something more, to start my own business, to kind of chart my own path. I just was feeling a little confined in this corporate world. And so I was like, okay, I have to lean into this. I have to honor this inner fire in me to create something and put some sort of a business out. But I honestly had no idea what it is that I would do. And I had no idea where to even start. So I told myself, okay, let's start by just immersing myself in this online entrepreneurship space. And I just joined a bunch of Facebook groups for female entrepreneurs. And I was like, let's just tune in. Let's listen. What are people doing? How are they serving? What challenges are they having? And let's see what speaks to me in terms of like problems to solve or tackle, or what it is that I want to do. And honestly, there's kind of like three main observations that I had. The first was that women had so many gifts and were so talented, and yet they had a lot of limiting beliefs and fears around putting themselves out there, around serving, getting clients. It's almost like they had this like imposter syndrome. And also around starting their own businesses. They might have had lots of experience, working in an agency before, or working as part of in corporate, but they didn't know how to actually start their online business and kind of get their own first clients. They had the expertise, but they were struggling a little bit with the online business part. And then the second thing that I saw is that, just like what we had talked about, is that people were building their businesses all on their own, and they were wearing all the hats, and they were trying to do everything. And I was like, it suddenly hit me how much I had taken for granted from my corporate world. The fact that I always had a team, always had cross-functional departments supporting me. I never had to launch a product or do a project completely on my own. I always had support and expertise in different areas. I'm like, here, these women, they're the accountant and the web developer and the branding specialist and the techie person, and still serving and being and adding their gift to the world, and doing all their marketing and social media content. It's overwhelming, right?
Yes.
But also people wanted community, and it was lonely. It was during COVID, and people were seeking that connection in the online space. So all of these kind of ideas helped me come up with this concept of creating a skill exchange community. And it was really born out of my own need, as I was learning so much about marketing and social media and websites and all that stuff. It was like, how can I access other experts when I'm not in a position yet to afford to hire and outsource all these different roles? And that's kind of this idea of like, let's barter, let's skill exchange. And I didn't invent the concept, right? It existed thousands of years ago, but let's bring that into the online space for female entrepreneurs, supporting one another, and let's find ways to leverage our strengths, leverage our gifts, leverage our zones of genius, and use that as a currency to get the help that we need from other people in a very supportive and collaborative environment and community with a lot of other experts.
I love that. And I'm going to ask you a couple questions. And I'm also going to say to those who are here with us, welcome. And I'm always curious to know. So here you're talking to us about and guiding us, female entrepreneurs, about starting and growing our businesses. But I always want to know inside your head especially with the tech and especially Zoom, I'm always curious, when you got started, how did you, first of all, use Zoom for your business? How did that get involved, especially if it was during COVID when everybody was on it? How did you make yourself be found?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, we started in a very small, intentionally small and curated Facebook community of people that were interested in the skill exchange concept. And Zoom was the primary way to connect with people in these meeting rooms. So we had organically grown to also add different events and things like that that people wanted and that our community was seeking. So, for example, it started with networking events. Hey, we've got all these lovely ladies in here. Let's set up a networking event to get to know each other better. And Zoom was what we had used for that. And then it evolved to, we have so many experts in this community that could lead a session for us on different topics. Let's set up these master classes or these workshops for people to come in and teach us and educate us about something that would benefit the broader community. So, then we started doing Zoom master classes as well. And as we've grown and evolved, we still use that. And we do exactly the same thing that we're doing today now. We have a Zoom room where people could join in more personally. And then we also live stream it to our members only Facebook group so that people could, in parallel, or depending on which setting they prefer, they could also watch it in the live stream in the Facebook group. So definitely Zoom is a big tool for us for sharing information and connecting.
Perfect. I love that. And I mean, it goes without saying, those who know me know that I specialize in it. And so when I hear that, I know that's why I tell everybody, whether it's Zoom or another video conferencing platform. I mean, I love Zoom because it's so user friendly, but it is the key to getting you out there, your voice, your face, and having people know what that gift is that you are sharing with everyone. Other than that, I mean, you could get on the phone, you could, it would take longer, but here inside Facebook, when you stream into one of your Facebook groups or even to you could stream to your personal profile, make it public, and then it's reachable to everyone, millions, even those who are not in your group. So it depends on your focus, whether you want to go to a membership, which is in your your group membership, or whether you just want to attract those who don't know you yet. So I love that. I love that you started that way. What was it other than the tech that maybe was a hurdle for you? I always like people to hear, is it all like, unicorns and rainbows, bouquets of roses, or, what were some of the hurdles that you found and how did you overcome them?
It was absolutely not all unicorns and rainbows, and it still isn't.
Puppy dogs.
It still isn't. As we evolve, as our business grows, as our memberships grow, our products grow, there's always going to be new challenges, right? New levels to overcome, new fears to overcome, new challenges. It is ongoing. Tech was definitely, tech is not my gift. So God bless people like you, Betsy, who it is their gift, because I've definitely leaned on a lot of my members in my community and externally to support me in those things. So, definitely the initial setup with all these things like setting up a website and a funnel and even a lead magnet, simple questions like, okay, I created this PDF in Canva, also trained myself on Canva. I created this Canva PDF, and now how do I actually put it in my emails, share it? How do people access it? Is it a Google Drive? Like all these like techie steps. So definitely some of the tech has been a bit of a challenge and continues to be as we expand and start using new tech. For example, I'm looking to launch an affiliate program right now, and I'm also struggling a little bit with which affiliate system could plug and play nicely with where my current website is being hosted and where our membership is being hosted. So there isn't like a clear integration. So it's one of these hurdles that I'm currently trying to overcome as well as I'm looking to set this up. But honestly, like a lot of, I'd say mindset was a lot at the core of it too, is just really learning to believe that and trust myself that I am capable of growing a business, that I am resourceful and I will find the right people to support me, the right knowledge, the right resources to support me. I'd say that that was always like a bit of a challenge and continues to be as we grow into new levels. That mindset is really at the core of everything we do. Our confidence in ourselves, our belief that we will figure things out, our confidence in what we do and how we serve is really like at the heart of it. So
True.
that's
Yeah,
always something, yeah, we're working through.
you're making me think now of us out here. So you're sharing with us, some of your hurdles, but then when you're greeting your audience and here you need to get us to believe that this bartering skill exchange collaboration is really going to be worthwhile, which it is, and B, how, like, what are some of the things you tell your audience how to make it happen? How do we do this skill exchange? How do we find that match with someone who we could exchange skills with and it be a perfect match?
Yeah, and I'll be totally honest, that is still something, talk about challenges, I am still working through to continuously improve the client experience and the client journey for my members. And it's an evolution, right? Like sometimes we look at different memberships and successful entrepreneurs that are like 5 to 10 years ahead of us, and they've built this incredible experience or this incredible membership. And you can sometimes feel defeated that you're not quite there yet. But that is where I think, first of all, market feedback and working so closely with your clients is so important to really tune in and listen and understand what is it that they need, how can you support them, what challenges do they have, and what kind of level of support can you create to support them in these steps. So definitely working towards creating resources across all these different objections and challenges that they have. So we're working on creating resources to help them identify, almost like a self-assessment, to really help them identify, to gain that confidence in all the things that they have to offer. It sometimes blows me away that I see even experts that have been doing something for like 10 years, and yet they sometimes are like, oh, what do I have to offer to this other person who's so skilled? And sometimes we don't even see like the simpler ways that we could support somebody, providing feedback and reviewing somebody's like sales copy, and because you're their target audience and your feedback would be invaluable to them, being an accountability buddy, being a sounding board in this like world of online solopreneurship. Like even those types of ways could be so valuable and supportive and helpful to somebody, and beyond just like your basic collaborations and skill exchanges. So definitely working on this, like building up people's confidence to see the different ways that they could add value to somebody else. Also, sometimes people don't know where to start. We're trying to help them to support them and where they are in their business and what they could focus on next, so that they could then leverage our community and leverage our member directory to easily find that. So speaking of tech, one of the things we did over the last few months is we created a platform for our members to easily be able to find those matches. So it started in a very rudimentary way. It was an Excel spreadsheet. And then eventually as the membership grew, I'm like, okay, that worked well. We've outgrown that. It's time to move into a proper platform. So we now have a proper platform that allows our members to come in, create a robust profile for themselves that really showcases what they do, what areas of expertise they have. And we have like 40 different categories of expertise. So it could really highlight what they do. And likewise, all the areas they need help with. Plus, showcase their all their social media links, their websites, and really talk about the types of connections and things that they need help with. And then it's a very user-friendly member directory where they could search. So for example, if I need help from a social media manager or a video editor, I can now easily look through these expertise in these categories to find who are all the different members in this community that are offering this. Using technology to really make it easy to search for what you're looking for, to find what it is that you need help with, showcase your own expertise so people could easily find you, and then creating the safe space and opportunities for people to connect through all these different events like networking events and a Facebook community as well.
Yeah, I think I'm agreeing with you in that talking about what your gift is, what you provide, as often as you can in as many places as you can. So I think finding, like, just meeting you and hearing about, oh, well, you work with people, your members may need to know how to use Zoom so that they can live stream to Facebook. Like, right there would be a skill exchange where I would, in return for maybe their social media expertise, which I content calendars and planning and good hooks to use. Like, there's all kinds of skills and gifts that everyone has. This is the other thing we were talking about in our green room before we showed up live today, is that I seek people who have the gift to maybe put a great piece of graphic design together. I see her here. I don't know if she's still here with us, but Tammy, who is in the comments here, is also, she's an expert at Canva. And because I'm dealing with her in certain realms, she's in the real estate industry, and she came up with this beautiful graphic of me on a concept I have called Betsy in your back pocket. It's like, you want Betsy in your back pocket? So I'll come up with the idea, but that's where I stop. And then I'm looking for, and she's still here. Hey, Tammy. And then I'm looking for the next step. So is that typically how in Femunify, how the skill exchange works, where you go in your platform and you say, hey, I'm looking for somebody who is a great graphic designer or knows Canva? I mean, is that typically where people start?
Yeah, there's so many ways that people could do it. They could do it in the Facebook community. They could leverage our member directory and say, okay, if I'm looking for somebody who's a graphic designer, I could search for all the graphic designers, and you could just send them a direct message right there in the platform and say, hi, I'm Betsy. I could offer you this and that, or support you. I'm looking for some help with a few graphics. Are you interested? And then other ways is it often happens organically, right? When you come into a community and you engage and you show up to different events, like networking events, for example, or master classes, people connect, they get to know each other. They know that, oh, Tammy is an excellent graphic designer, and it was awesome to meet her in this networking event. I'm now going to reach out to her after this event and see if we could possibly, do a skill exchange. And again, and you could say, hey, I could, spend a couple hours walking you through how to set up your Zoom room and give you like a consultation, right, to show you how to do this awesome promotional video while people are waiting, so that they could learn more about your products, and it could show you how to set it up so you live stream it in your group. And that would be so helpful to somebody, because rather than trying to figure it all out on your own, they could spend like an hour or two with you, and you could help them set that up. And in exchange, they could offer you what comes so easily to them, and maybe make a few graphics for you, or maybe give you a tutorial of Canva to show you, hey, Betsy, next time you need to do this, here's how you can put this together. But also, even, and it always blows my mind, because people come up with so many creative ways to support one another and do skill exchanges. For example, if you had a few previous recordings on certain topics, you could say, maybe it's something that you even sell separately as like a digital product or like a little mini training course. You could say, hey, I could give you access to this, training or course that I've created on this topic in exchange for access in somebody else's training course about Canva, that they've created. So it always blows me away. And somebody also offered one time, they said, hey, I need a consultation on this specific process, like how to set up, let's use this example in the Zoom room. Like I want to set up my Zoom. Can we hop on a call and you show me how to do this? And in exchange, I will create an SOP for you for your business, and I will give it to you, and I will document those steps for you, this process, and you can then leverage it in your business, in your operations. You could share it with other team members. You now have a digital product that you could then offer to somebody else. That is brilliant, right? So like even like different ways to help people out, to create win-win value exchanges is what it's all about.
Yeah, that's fabulous. And actually, the fact that she's here, she and I had one of those organic meetups at a class I was giving months ago, where we just knew that our skills were easily exchangeable, in that, she does teach Canva. She not only creates all the stuff, she does teach it very well. So, but she wanted to teach it on Zoom and didn't know how to yet. She wanted to teach it on Zoom. She was teaching it in person. And I was like, well, okay, I easily can show you how to do that. So let's book it. Let's book a date. Yes. Yeah. She's commenting here. So it is definitely easily grows in an organic way. The thing I think I know where we need you is the ability to find, others. That for me, like when this is where I work. I'm here by myself. I have others here. I told you earlier, if you're just joining us, I have a wonderful video editor in the Philippines. He may still be watching. So he's remote. He and I are many miles away, and but we communicate daily through Zoom and the Zoom app, and so we get our work done. However, physically, if I were to, where would I go? Where would I go? If anybody's here thinking, where would you go to find somebody to have this great skill exchange? Anna's going to tell us. So that's why I invited her in here, because I thought that's such a great resource for us to know, like, where do we go if we want to find it? So tell us a little bit more about actually, what it looks like, or I can drop a link in the chat for people. Just bring us a little closer to, how it all works from
sure.
Your service.
You can check out our website at femunify.com, and you can learn a little bit more about the membership there and get a little bit of a sneak peek of what it looks like on the inside. But basically, as soon as somebody joins, really right away, you enter into your profile space, and where this is your place to shine and talk about all your gifts and your zones of genius. And I see it as like a storefront almost, right? It's like your professional member profile, showcasing what it is that you do, all the areas that you could support, experiences that you have, and it's super customizable too. You can add all these different links to your websites, to your social media handles, a direct booking link if you want for people to schedule a time with you. You could talk about what specific opportunities you're looking for right now. So let's say you're not necessarily looking to skill exchange right now, but you would just love opportunities to network, or maybe you're like really early on in your journey and you actually want to offer some of your services freely in exchange for testimonials because you're looking to build out your portfolio. You can indicate all of these things to really be intentional with the specific opportunities and transparent with the specific opportunities you're looking for. Maybe it's collaborations, right? So there's ways to kind of showcase that on your website, on your profile. And then you get to pick all the different areas that you have expertise, like anything really that you could offer in exchange. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be tied to what it is that you're doing. Let's say, for example, Betsy, you're a life coach, but you have all this wealth of knowledge on technology. You could still offer that as a skill in order to get help in other areas that you need. And then likewise, we have an area to say, what do you need help with right now? And you can, again, it's like 40 different categories that you could say of what you're looking for right now. Maybe you're looking for a health and wellness coach to help you in your personal life. Maybe you need somebody to help you with websites, with your website design, email marketing, your social media management, right? Maybe you need like a branding kit done and you'd love for somebody to support you in creating a branding kit. So you really have the space to also share what it is that you need help with. And after that, you kind of just dive right into our member directory and you can start finding these collaborative matches of different people based on what you offer. And you can search across both dimensions. You could search across areas that people are offering. So like, let's say specifically you need video editing. Let's see who offers that. Or you can search based on what are people looking for. So if I'm, a life coach and I want to see who in here needs life coaching, I could see who are all the people that have indicated they need that. And I could approach it this way and then just reach out to people and connect. And then we also have our events, which you could join. Every week we have a weekly event. And it's actually today we have our monthly goal setting and planning strategy, because I'm really big on supporting our business owners with being very intentional on, their goals for the month and what it is that we are working towards, so that we could then have clarity on what parts of our business we're focusing on. And then they could leverage this community as a tool to help them find the help that they need to meet their bigger goals and make progress. We have networking events, and then of course join our watch replays or join our live masterclasses of expert-led masterclasses on a number of different topics. So that's kind of a little bit of where we're at. And again, it's always evolving. We're very close to our members, and we're creating more and more resources and support in different areas that they need help with to get started.
That's great. So when I put the link to to femunify.com in the comments here. So for those watching, go ahead and click through there. When they do that, just give us a little overview of, do you become a member first? Is it, does the Facebook group then, become part of your membership benefits? How does that work?
Yeah, so the Facebook group is part of the membership benefits. It's for members only, to really create a more kind of curated and intimate space for members to connect. One thing that we've started opening more publicly lately is our networking events. It used to be exclusive to members, but I'm such a big believer in networking and the doors that it opens to you. And I truly believe this is something that we want to invite all female online entrepreneurs to. And so it's now something that is available for people who are not members yet, especially if they want to get a little bit of a taste for the community and they want to meet other experts. So that is something that you could reach out to us and join. It happens on the third Thursday of every month. So Wonderful. If you just wanted to join a networking event, it's totally free. Even if you're not a member, you can join that. That could be a great way to sort of access it. But in the spirit of constantly evolving and still growing, like, I'm also still looking for ways of how to give people a better taste, right? Like and you totally inspired me with your promotional video of like, I have to create a promotional video to give people a taste of what the experience looks like inside, and put that on my homepage, put that in my Zoom room so that people could get exposed to that and get a better sense of it, because it's one of those things that you sort of have to like just taste and feel a little bit, right? So even this conversation is so helpful for me to try to understand what questions are people asking and what do they need to see to feel confident that this could be a good space for them. Yes. So thank you. You're helping me see this is a skill exchange.
I know, we're exchanging skills today, Anna. You're welcome. I told you in leading up to this, well, when we met a few months ago, that I do these member spotlights, and this just came about organically, if you would. We had done one on someone who had a program coming out, and I was like, well, I have a Facebook group. Why don't we just hop on there? I mean, sometimes it's just, for me, it's so easy. It's like when we all just get in our car and we just drive, we don't think about it. I just hop on Zoom without thinking about it. It's just what I do naturally. So I thought, well, if we go in the Facebook group, there's more people in there, and then they could hear it too. So, and then that just turned into, the next month, I'm like, why don't I do this again? That was fun. It's really fun to talk about what other people are doing. I just think I'm naturally curious too about what, your business is about, and how it came to be. How did you get, like I asked you before, how do you get over those hurdles? So, and yes, video, we'll just talk about that a minute. That video is something that I have come to be more comfortable in doing, creating. I have to say, I've mentioned him quite a bit, but if you can find somebody that can put video together for you, or you can go into Canva, we'll mention that again. It's very easy to make a video in Canva and just pop your picture in there. And you can, Tammy's name is in the comments here. You could certainly, I'm sure she wouldn't mind, message her and ask her how she would do it. She just gave me an idea the other day about how to do voiceover inside Canva, so it doesn't have to be video. It can be a video, can be a series of photos of you all strung together with cute little transitions and graphics and your voiceover. Like, that can all be done in Canva. I know I'm making it sound very simple, or it could be this. You could show up. I have a free event coming up on Zoom Clips. I mentioned it's a brand new feature, and you can just look right in the camera. And you can say, hey, everyone, this is Anna here. And I'm just so happy that you come in. We're going to do some networking and la, la, la. And then you click, you end, and then you've got a video. And then you put that in your waiting room. It's just got your background, your beautiful background right here. I'm reading all the great messages behind you, which is a great way to have a professional background with your kind of your mission statement, like
my inspiration wall.
Your inspiration wall. You are exactly where you need to be. Yes. So, people can just find out about you just by what's on your, your inspiration wall. So yes, I think meeting up with people, my next question to you would be, when you do your networking inside Zoom, do you use breakout rooms so that you can do speed networking?
So it depends on the size and how many people. So yes, if when it's a little bit more small and intimate, like 5 or 6 of us, we might keep it into a single Zoom room. And because it's just the conversation organically flows, and it's nice to be exposed to more people. When it starts becoming a little bit bigger, like when we've had 10 or more, definitely like the breakout rooms is something wonderful, because I do think that something like networking, it's not just about like your 2-minute elevator pitch, right? You really want to build a connection with somebody. You really want to get a feel for what their expertise is, how they can support you, and it's, we call them also our masterminding sessions, because it's not just about networking, right? Like networking can also be a bit of like an icky word for some people. It really is just very collaborative, professional women coming together with this desire to learn from one another, support one another, showcase their expertise, and also lean on other people's expertise too. And so it very organically becomes a masterminding session, because you share, hey, I'm struggling with this thing. And all of a sudden, the expert in the marketing, or I'm struggling with Canva, and the expert in Canva comes in and says, hey, try to do this and try to do that. And I have a little resource I could share with you, or a training that I've done on this. And so it becomes this very much of like a masterminding session too. And so we definitely do lean on the breakout rooms as well, to keep it more intimate and collaborative.
That's fabulous. And I think that's so important we're rounding out to sort of the end of our time together. But when I think about, we've just come full circle earlier, you said with when you start a business, there's a lot of these limiting beliefs and these stories in our heads about, am I right to do this? Am I worthy enough? Is this idea that I have, is it really going to come to be? Am I capable? I know I'm committing to it, but I'm scared. All of those thoughts. So this networking, it is an icky word. I've never liked it. When I go to a networking event, if I think of it of that, I don't want to go. But if I think about, I'm going to go meet people and hear about what they're doing and tell them about what I do, I'm there. So that's networking, or being in a mastermind group with other people where you're masterminding. So what's your gift, Anna? And you're telling us what you bring to the world, and what's my gift. And I tell everybody what I bring to the world. So, and I'll be there in a heartbeat. But if you call it networking, I don't know if I'll go. So I'm going to take that idea, actually, because I always call them speed networking. And I'm just like, I don't know, maybe we'll call it something else, speed gifting.
Connections or
speed gifting.
Love it.
But it is the fact that we can come to you and be invited in before we're even a member, to be able to meet up with other people through your connections is really great to know. So is there something else other than what we've talked about today that you want to make sure everybody knows about you or about Femunify? I'm just looking in the chats here for you too.
If anybody has any questions, anything that I can help answer, please, let Betsy know. I'm sure she'll let me know. No, otherwise, we have an excellent resource as well.
Let me interject if you wouldn't mind, because I do see one question here. We were just talking about, the limiting beliefs, and I'm just going to highlight it a little bit. When you think to yourself, can I really charge people for that? Like, that's one of my gifts, like I know Zoom, and I just got chills as I thought I can lay all this out for you. I can tell you what all the buttons are in here. And then I used to think, I've gotten over a lot of it, but I used to think when I first started out, like, can I charge for that? And how much? Like, what should I be charging? And so that's really one of the comments in there. What are some of the tips for, we're focusing mainly on female entrepreneurs, what are some of the tips for figuring your way through that?
Yeah, and I love that you asked that, because it was definitely one of the observations that I had seen as well is, am I worthy enough to be able to charge for this? And honestly, I think this is also one of the things that led me to the skill exchange idea, and although it seems kind of counterintuitive, because it's actually not to charge for your services, But it does a very foundational and important thing, which is it helps you see the value that you bring to the table. Because first of all, it gives you a safe space to offer what it is you do and see the value that it adds to other people. So one of the greatest like testimonials and feedback that I've gotten from some women, especially when they're have this question is, can I even charge for this? Is that one of the biggest benefits they had early on from this community is gaining the confidence in the value that they actually bring to the table, because they saw that those consultations, those strategies, that training that they have given to somebody else was so helpful and valuable to that other person that they had started to gain a lot more confidence in themselves and in what they are offering to actually then go out to the world and also offer that and put in, and to charge for it. Because sometimes we need to actually flex our muscle and we need to take action and offer it, in order to really get that validation. It's very scary to hide behind this wall of, can I charge for this? I'm not worthy, and so I'm not going to go out and do it. This kind of forces you in a safe space to really lend your expertise and test it out and get the validation and assurance that it is so valuable and you do support so many people, and it helps you build that confidence. And then the other thing too is when you also see how much that can give you access to value from other people, then you start also seeing that like, wow, like I really helped somebody else and that was tremendous for them, and then they likewise helped me, and that was so valuable to me as well. It is something that I would have had to pay out of pocket for. It is something that I couldn't have afforded right now, and now I was able to get value from this as well. And so all of that just kind of helps you build out that confidence and see those opportunities. Don't get me wrong, skill exchanges are not meant to replace your money generating business. It is only to the extent that you have some capacity to offer, that you are not yet fully booked, that you are not yet, that every activity in your calendar is money generating activity. If you have some capacity, you can leverage that to do skill exchanges.
Yeah. Love that. Love that. That's just in a nutshell, like, and that's how you could get started. So, or get to the next step.
Yes,
so I think for anyone, wherever you are in your journey, you're at the beginning wondering, am I, fill in the blank, worth it? I have a good friend who tells me, she's also my coach. She's my business coach, my life coach. She tells me or encourages me to find the evidence and always seek the evidence. Like, are you capable? Well, if you seek the evidence, I've done that before. I taught someone how to do that. Maybe on a skill exchange, I was with somebody, offering up my advice, and they said, "Thank you so much. That's the best advice I've gotten." So take that evidence and record it, remember it, and build on it. So that could be you at the beginning. Yeah. If I'm sort of, I'm at a point where I'm working at achieving like a next level up, like when people say level up or, move yourself up, increase your revenue. I'm reading a book called 10x to 10x your business, right? Like those concepts of going from, doubling something to really,
10x is easier than 2x?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That's my favorite. Let's show him Dan Sullivan. So good. So good. So good. See, we have a lot in common. We have a lot in common. And anyway, we'll just talk Dan Sullivan for a minute. Like if anyone here wants to know, first of all, that book is fabulous, but also he's got a free, I'm going to put it in the comments because he's so great, but Dan Sullivan is the strategic coach. And this, my coach also told me about him about a year and a half ago. And he's got something called the 4 C's formula, the 4 C's, like the letter C's formula. And I'm just typing it real quick here in the chat, and hopefully people will just Google that. I'll follow up with the link to it. It's a free ebook. Okay. So I was told a year and a half ago, so now we'll talk about Dan Sullivan in a minute, but it's just so interesting how, again, you and I, like a meeting of the minds, and, we come together and we're almost demonstrating like what a skill exchange could be like. Right. Yeah. And sometimes when you do a skill exchange, then you get on to what moves you. Right. So, and you're like, wait a minute, I have that book. And so when I learned about Dan Sullivan, I had voiced to my own coach that I was I had fear. I was fearful. It was about a year and a half ago. And it was almost like I knew that I was going to be successful. If this sounds kind of strange, but
Not at all.
right. I was almost like, oh my gosh, if like, kind of like if you build it, they will come. And I was like, am I ready for them to come? Am I ready for them to come in the door? So I was fearful. And she said, my coach said to me, go read this. This is a free ebook. It's easy, like 45-minute read. It comes with the audio version. So again, I'll follow up with the link to it just because it's such a fabulous resource. And for those out there who want to learn more about him and that author, but the 4 C's, just as a real thing, is commitment. So you make the commitment. So like say they're going to make the commitment to find you or to do a skill exchange, right? And then the next C is courage. And so what he says is that you have to go through courage. It's not a thing you obtain. It's a process you go through.
Yes.
So he says you go through courage.
Yes.
And actually you have to go through courage alone. So maybe with a skill exchange, you're not really going through it alone, but in a sense, in order to get you onto the Zoom, in order to make that commitment to meet up with someone once a week, like you're scared. And so you're going through this period of courage on your own. You really do have to get through it. So that's the second C. Then the third C is capable. And so we're not capable. We don't feel capable until we've made the commitment and then gone through courage. And I was just like, it was like a mind blow for me. It's like, oh, that makes sense. Because then once you've done it, you've come on Zoom once a week. You've written your notes once a week because maybe you want to write a book. You want to write a blog and you're making the commitment to put the words on and you're scared because you're like, I don't know how to do it. I don't know where to put it. I don't know the tech. I don't know. And so you make the commitment to do it, you go through courage, and then you feel capable because it's like, oh, I've done that. So all of a sudden you're like, I feel capable. And then the 4th C is confidence. So I read that ebook, listened to it. Actually, I listened to it repeatedly, and it convinced me. It convinced me right away and made me so calm. There's the 5th C, calm, that as a leader, and you and I are leaders, and as leaders, we are innovators. Look at you. You created this business called Femunify, the skill exchange. And you're an innovator. And so as a leader, we're alone. We're in front doing this alone. And once I put those two together, I was like, oh, I'm supposed to be doing this alone, but doesn't mean I don't have a team that I can, bring with me to say, okay, I've been through courage. Now I feel capable. So now I'm delegating to you and I'm delegating to you. And like, I'm in front, but I've got this team behind me. So anyway, I'm so glad that you said that. You're so cute too, because you've got someone off camera. I'm going to make wants to peek in. Is there someone there that we can say hi to?
No, my husband just walked in. I don't think he realized I'm on the live, and he's very sweet. I think he came to give me my lunch, which was very nice. So
I love it.
Full service and support over here. But I was like, pause.
What? I love it because look, I mean, literally, I love a physical background, but you literally can see all the way to my kitchen. And there are times when like a handyman might, or, a person to fix something might want to come over. I'm like, okay, it cannot be what I'm on camera because you literally can see everyone. So there's no way that I can say, don't come yet. So I love that. We're working out of where we live also. So
exactly, right. We make it work.
Yes, we will wrap up here so that he can bring you lunch because I think that's absolutely adorable. And yeah, because we're about out of time. But is there a way you have any other things you want to tell people about that if they want to attend that free event?
Absolutely. You could so reach out to us if you want to attend, either through our website or just email me or DM me. I will give you the details. I'm still in the process of creating an actual sign up page to make it really easy to have a link to share. Constantly evolving, constantly growing. And the only other thing I would say is I have a resource, an ebook that I created for 7 proven and actionable ways to accelerate your business growth without breaking the bank. And so I'll give you a little bit of a heads up that, of course, it talks about skill exchanges and collaborations as part of that strategy, but it goes into a little bit more detail and really showcases the benefits that it could be for your business, highlights some easy steps to get started with it, and then, of course, some additional additional strategies as well. So I'm happy to share the link to that if that could be a helpful resource for you. And we will be in touch and stay connected. And you'll also hear about the networking events.
I love it. Thank you so much. I'll repost it into the caption so that it's there for people to grab your free ebook.
Thank you. And if I could just say one last thing, because you really inspired me with what you said as you started talking about kind of going to that next level and delegating. One of the amazing other benefits that people have had in the community is, let's say you want to hire somebody like your first VA or a video editor or a marketing strategist or a social media manager, but you almost don't know where to start. This could also be a great place to kind of get your feet wet in terms of working with somebody on a bit of a more confined short-term basis to test out the waters, to figure out how can they help me? What would I delegate to them? What would that look like? Test it out in a safe space where you can expand kind of your horizons of what it would be like. And then if it works out, you can hire that person. I've done that before. I've hired after doing skill exchanges. It's an amazing way to kind of test out the waters. But even if that person is not necessarily the right fit, you have gained experience on what it's like to delegate to somebody else, and you have figured out a bit of a plan of what you could even onboard, how you could onboard them, what they could do for you, and what that type of resource could do for your business. And then you could then be committed to say, I got a taste of it. I now need that video editor, on a full-time basis to be a part of my team. And so oftentimes people have used that as a stepping stone. Also, when they're looking to grow and scale and build a team, they use skill exchanges as a stepping stone to really figure out some of those first steps to get the confidence to then, after that, hire a full-time or a part-time, contractor. So
I love that. That is perfect, because it often is one of the objections to, or resistance, right? We resist, especially, so how do you go from solopreneur? In a sense, you're still the leader of your own business. You still might be the only one, and you're hiring just contractors, right? You hire, 1099 contractors, not necessarily their employees, but you need to delegate. This is how we started out our conversation, even before we came on camera with everybody, because we were like, we can't do everything. In order to grow, in order for me to get to that next level up, I have to delegate, because I want to grow. I want to expand my services. I want to expand my audience. I want to expand my reach. I want to be, ready for more people to come in. And so when more people come in, you have to have systems in place, like you mentioned, and all of these things in order for them to work. Like, come on, people, you cannot do it all yourself. You can't.
yes.
I mean, you can in a small sense, but if you want to grow, and if that's your desire in your heart, I love that. So you start with a skill exchange, and you get comfortable with how to give over something to somebody else, because you're exchanging the skills rather than hiring them. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, I could just hire you to do this. And then all of a sudden,
I've gone through the process and I know how it works. And, if you're not exactly the person, that's fine. But now I know what to look for in the next person that I'm going to be paying out of pocket for. So I find that skill exchanges support people in different stages, and it helps them ease into the next stage.
That's great. Beautiful place to stop. I love that. Thank you so much, Anna. I really enjoyed our discussion today. And thank you everybody who attended live and gave us your feedback and questions. Continue, if you're watching back on the replay, just give us a little hashtag replay as you're watching, and we'll be able to keep the conversation going even off camera. So thanks, everybody. And thanks, Anna. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you for the opportunity. It's been an absolute pleasure. I love what you do and the way that you serve and leverage your gifts to help other people. And thank you for creating this wonderful community and offering this opportunity. I'm so grateful.
You're so welcome. I can't wait to continue with you in another realm. I'm sure we will. So
we will, absolutely.
I'll see you soon. All right.
Bye,
Take care, everybody. Bye now.